and welcome to our little bit of kitchen witchery here. I'm going to be making a love candle today. These are some of the items that I'm going to be using. Of course, anyone can use whatever they feel like they need to do. It's the intention that is the main purpose of your magic. But here's some of the items. You got wax, right? I don't use the expensive stuff. You know, you can get this right in your own supermarket, you know, where they have the baking goods and such. You know, you use it for many things, you know, like for covering jams and jellies, you know, when you're canning and such. You're going to need, in my case, some clay or some putty. It's modeling clay, putty, something pliable and doesn't get hard. I'm going to be using a nail, a long nail. I'll show you what I do with that for later. You can also use some heavy wire. In the past I've used a pencil, but there's reasons. I'll show you. I want my candle to be red or pinkish, so I'm going to be using a crayon, right? They do sell colors that you can use in your candles, but a wax crayon does the trick for me, and they're cheap. You buy a box of candles and you get all these different colors. There are some crayons out there that are made of a soy product. You really don't want to use those, because when they melt, you know, they get clumpy and icky. They're not very good for what we do here. So there is a brand out there that does use wax for their candles, for their crayons, for my candles. So you want to use wax crayons. You're going to need a flat surface. In the past I've used cooking sheet pans, or you could use a plate or whatever. I'm going to use my witch's board here. I'm just going to turn it over and use it when the time comes. For the mold for your candle, you can use whatever you want, but I'd like to make a pillar type of candle. This is just a glass that you can pick up in, you know, wherever, you five and dime. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's cheap, a little sturdy, and I'm going to be putting a hole in the bottom, in the middle, right in the middle, and I'm going to be putting 2 indentations in it. And what's going to happen is the nail or the heavy wire or the section of coat hanger that I've used in the past, you know, I've cut up a piece of coat hanger, will sit across it. So I'm going to go ahead and make the indentations. Oh, before that too, since this is a love candle, I've decided I'm going to be putting some rose petals in it. And, you know, I tell people to date their items. Look at this. This is why I do it. This rose bush bloomed on the full moon right around Halloween in 2014. But I'm going to be putting some rosebud in it. Let's make the indentations in here. Be right back. Alright, I made the indentations in the hole in the bottom of the cup here, or our candle mold. I just went ahead and heated up the tip of the nail here and just melted it a little bit. Just melted it, you can see. Yep, there you go. Okay, so now the nail is going to be sitting in there, a little snug, you know, in the center. And poke the hole in the bottom. Okay. And also, when I first started the video, I didn't show you, you're also going to need wick. This is the wick. You could buy wick in any hobby shop, arts and crafts shop, and or you can buy a cheap candle that you find in a yard sale or whatever and steal the wick out of that. That's good. Alright. Now, you're going to start to melt your wax, and remember, candle making can be dangerous, so be very careful. Okay, you can always want to use a double boiler. You don't know what a double boiler is? Well, I'm going to show you here right now. Alright, to melt your wax, in my case, we're going to use a double boiler. Alright, we don't have anything fancy here, but wax and open flames do not go together. Alright, it could be very explosive. You do not leave your wax unattended. And this is how we make a simple double boiler. You get a pot, a larger pot, put some water in it. What's that? A third to half full, I guess. Alright. Since I'm going to be using this candle and ritual, I'm going to go ahead and cleanse the water. We're going to throw a little bit of sea salt in there. You can buy sea salt anywhere too. Okay, so you got your pot, you got your water. And what happens is you take another pot and you put it in there. That's a double boiler. Alright? Because you do not want wax to come in contact with a very high temperature. Okay? Be very careful with your wax. Just put it in there. I like to break it into smaller pieces with this wax. Pretty tough. There, a little bit. I'm not strong enough today. It'll eventually melt. So this is hurry up and wait, but you gotta pay attention to it. You cannot leave it alone. That's my little zombie refrigerator magnet. Betty Page zombie. If you find that you might want to purchase any of these candles from me, let me know what you need, and you can get me on email at mrcharles@yahoo.com. So we'll just let that go ahead and melt. Everything's ready. See, the wax is starting to melt. Remember, don't let water get in it. I'm going to be adding some rose essential oil. That's good for love, passion. I used to have a different setup at my old place. I used to use a old camping coffee pot to melt the wax. But I had to leave all that stuff behind, so I had to travel late, lost the house doing that banking snafu. But candle making supplies are easy to replace. I'm just moving it around a little bit, get it melting a little faster. Let's go ahead and prepare the wick. Alright, got the size of the cup. Or your candle mold. Notice how the wick usually curls up. So, I'm just going to measure it a little bit. Give it a little excess there. There's a reason. And I will just cut it right about there. Alright, I got the wick, as you see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little coating of wax on it so that it stiffens up, gets straight. Watch. I'll turn the fire down, we're starting to bubble a little bit. Don't want that too much. Okay, so I've got a coat of wax on there. See? Get a little point on one end. There's a reason, right? So there you go. The wick's all excited to be used. See? There you go. Wick's ready. Now, I'm going to take the wick, might as well do it here. I'm going to prepare it. A nail, or the wire, whatever you choose to use. Just tie a little end on it. Simple. Put her in the old middle of the nail. Like so. Happy to see you. There you go. Yeah. Just simply tied it. Sort of went not up top. Nice. There should still be enough room. Easy. Well, let's turn it red. That much. Let's get that going. I saved a little piece because there's a reason. We're actually going to have to pour the candle 2 times. Might need more red, so I want to make sure I have some left over. Yeah. There she goes. Nice. As you stir, as you prepare your candle wax, make sure you put in your intentions. Think about why you are doing this. You want love, you want passion, you want attraction, and this is for people. Looks like tomato soup. A little bit of essence. Oh yeah, that's good. Stir up again. This is the time to add your blessings. It's in secret. Oh, she's ready. I'm gonna go turn off the fire. Alrighty, now we're ready for the candle mold. The wick a little bit better in the center there. And then you're gonna thread the wick through that hole you made. Nails in the, well, in this case a nail, or use a wire or whatever. It's in the indentations, so it's not going to roll around. Got about a 1/4 inch of wick sticking out the bottom. You just bend it over there. Got the flat surface of the putty or modeling clay. Yeah, it's a little Mystic Charles. In the old days I'd use a sheet pan and make a whole bunch of candles at once. In this case, a little Mystic Charles will work. Took a little ball of putty, right? Sealed the hole, right? Then we're gonna put it onto the flat surface of the putty. Get ready to pour. We press down so we get a nice seal. Like so. And get ready to bring the wax over. Very careful. I'm going to wipe the bottom of the old pot here because we don't want water to drip into mold. Okay, we're in there. Wick is centered. Right? And here we go. Oh yeah, lovely mess. Expect a mess. Let it dry because it's easier to clean up after it cools off. There we go. I poured it almost to the top. Alright. Now we let it cool. And that's going to take a little while. And then we're going to pour again. I'll show you why. The inside is going to contract and go down. So it's going to be a hollow in the middle of it. And we're going to fill that back up. Alright. I've added the crushed up rose petals. And I re-melted some of the leftover wax. And now we're going to fill in the gap that happened when the wax contracted. Let's see what kind of mess we can make this time. Here we go. And that's good. A little more. There we go. So we'll wait for that to harden up again, and then we should be able to pop it out. Okay, looks like the candle's all cooled off. Let's trim off the wick. Get rid of the nail. Pop it out. See? Easy. One little mystic. Looks like he has a big belly button. Anyway, there's the wick, the end of the wick. Just give it a little, well, I'm going to squeeze it just a little bit. Give it a pop. And there you go. That's a love candle. Remember to subscribe, like the video, share, and enjoy your candles.